In a world filled with ancient texts, few claim to carry the profound weight of divinity quite like the Holy Quran. It stands unique, not only for its teachings but also for the countless characteristics that reveal it as beyond human creation. Let's explore the striking facts that make the Quran a miraculous revelation, unparalleled in history. The Quran, revealed in Arabic over 1,400 years ago, remains linguistically unmatched. Its eloquence, poetic rhythm, and structure testify to its divine origin. Despite centuries of literary achievements in the Arabic language, no one has been able to replicate even a chapter of the Quran in its original beauty and depth. Scholars, poets, and linguists have all tried, but as stated in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 23, and if you are in doubt about what we have sent down, then produce a surah like it 2:23. This challenge, issued to all of humanity, remains unbroken to this day. The Quran is universally acknowledged as a literary masterpiece. Its unique amalgamation of poetry and prose termed Ijaz al-Quran, or the inimitability of the Quran, has confounded even the most illustrious poets of ancient Arabia. Rhetorical devices such as metaphors, symmetry, and parallelism are intricately woven throughout its verses, creating a deeply intellectual and emotional experience. For instance, in Surah Al-Rahman, the repeated refrain, "So which of the favors of your Lord will you deny?" Quran 55 evokes a profound sense of gratitude, showcasing the Quran's ability to inspire contemplation and awe. Prominent intellectuals, including Taha Hussein, have marveled at the Quran's linguistic mastery, observing that it does not conform to traditional poetry or prose but exists in a category of its own and unparalleled literary genre. Despite being revealed over a span of 23 years in various contexts, the Quran maintains unbroken consistency in both eloquence and thematic unity, serving as further evidence of its divine origin. Beyond its linguistic elegance, the Quran contains intricate numerical patterns that reaffirm its divine origin. For example, the word day appears precisely 365 times, corresponding to the number of days in a solar year. Similarly, the words man and woman are mentioned 24 and 23 times, respectively, reflecting an intentional harmony in the Quran's design. Even more remarkable is the presence of the number 19, which scholars have identified as a structural foundation for chapters and verses, further illustrating the divine precision of the Quran. Consider Surah Al-Mudaththir, which consists of 19 verses, and mentions the guardians of hell as numbering 19. The letter Mim appears exactly 19 times in Surah Al-Fatiha, the opening chapter. These precise numerical patterns are no coincidence, they stand as signs of divine craftsmanship beyond human capability. In addition to these linguistic marvels, the Quran's mathematical and numerical phenomena continue to captivate researchers. The balance between terms, such as reward and punishment, reflects divine justice, while more subtle patterns symbolize the Quran's divine design. For instance, the concept of sadaqah charity is mentioned 73 times, while zakah obligatory almsgiving appears 32 times, emphasizing the importance of both voluntary and obligatory giving in Islam. Unlike other ancient texts that have been altered, rewritten, or lost to history, the Quran has been preserved word for word. From the time of its revelation to today, not a single letter has been changed. In Surah Al-Hijr, verse 9, the Quran declares, "Indeed, it is we who sent down the Quran, and indeed, we will be its guardian." 15:9. This divine promise is evident as millions around the world have memorized the Quran in its entirety, from children to the elderly, ensuring its exact preservation across generations. Now let that sink in. An unaltered scripture, passed down through centuries, across languages and cultures, with every single word intact. The Quran also stands apart due to its numerous references to scientific phenomena that were unknown at the time of its revelation. For example, in Surah Al-Anbiya, verse 30, the Quran mentions the origin of the universe, saying, "Do not the disbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were a closed-up mass? Then we opened them out." 21:30. This describes the Big Bang, a concept only discovered by modern science centuries later. But it also references embryology in precise detail, explaining the stages of human development long before medical science could observe it. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, verses 12 to 14, the Quran describes the embryo's development from a drop of fluid to a clot to a lump of flesh, aligning perfectly with today's scientific understanding of prenatal growth. For example, modern embryology identifies the following stages: the zygote, the fertilized egg; cleavage, the splitting of the zygote; and gastrulation, the formation of layers. The Quran's accurate description reflects advanced knowledge that was not accessible until recent scientific advancements. The Quran contains a stunning level of numerical precision. Certain words appear in specific frequencies, aligning with their meanings. The word day appears exactly 365 times, the same number of days in a year. Similarly, the word month appears 12 times, mirroring the number of months in a year. These numerical consistencies are far beyond coincidence and are one of many mathematical marvels embedded in the Quran. The Quran also contains prophecies, many of which have already come to pass. One striking example is the prediction of the defeat and subsequent victory of the Byzantine Empire. In Surah Ar-Rum, verses 2-4, the Quran foretold that the Romans, who had been defeated by the Persians, would triumph again within a few years. The Romans have been defeated in the nearest land, but they, after their defeat, will overcome. 32:4. Historically, this prophecy was fulfilled, showcasing the Quran's accurate and divine knowledge of future events. Such predictions, made at a time of seemingly impossible circumstances, highlight the Quran's divine foreknowledge. The Quran, often described as a spiritual guide for over 1 billion people, is much more than just a religious text. What sets it apart from any other scripture is the extraordinary scientific and geographical knowledge it contains, revealed over 1,400 years ago. How could such knowledge have been present in a text revealed over a millennium before modern telescopes and space science? For instance, the Quran mentions the role of mountains in stabilizing the earth, something geologists have only recently come to understand. In Surah An-Naba, verses 6-7, it says, "Have we not made the earth a resting place, and the mountains as stakes?" 78:6-7. Mountains are described as stakes or pegs because they have deep roots extending into the earth's crust, providing stability to the planet's surface. Geologist Dr. Frank Press, who served as the science advisor to former US President Jimmy Carter, stated in his research that mountains indeed play a critical role in stabilizing the earth's crust, confirming what the Quran had revealed centuries earlier. Professor Keith L. Moore, a leading authority in anatomy and embryology, once commented that this description in the Quran is so accurate it must have come from divine knowledge. He remarked, "It is clear to me that these statements must have come to Muhammad from God, because most of this knowledge was not discovered until many centuries later." Another stunning fact from the Quran relates to the deep oceans and their concealed internal waves. In Surah An-Nur, verse 40, the Quran says, "Or they are like layers of darkness within an unfathomable sea which is covered by waves, upon which are waves, over which are waves, over which are clouds, layers of darkness, some above others." 24:40. Modern oceanography, which developed only in the last century, has discovered that deep beneath the ocean's surface, there are internal waves that act much like the surface waves, hidden from view. Jacques Cousteau, a famous French oceanographer, once expressed his awe over the Quran's reference to deep-sea phenomena that scientists only recently understood, praising it as something beyond human comprehension in the 7th century. The Quran also refers to a barrier between fresh and salt water, another phenomenon only confirmed by scientists in recent times. In Surah Al-Furqan, verse 53, the Quran states, "And it is He who has released simultaneously the two bodies of water, one fresh and sweet, and one salty and bitter, and He placed between them a barrier and prohibiting partition." 25:53. Modern science has discovered that when rivers meet oceans, there is a partition where fresh and salt water mix but do not immediately blend due to differences in salinity, density, and temperature, creating a boundary that is consistent with the Quranic description. Finally, the Quran's universal message resonates deeply with humanity, transcending time and culture. In Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 13, it says, "O mankind, we have created you from a male and a female and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another." 49:13. This call for unity, understanding, and respect among all human beings remains relevant in our diverse world, encouraging peace and harmony. So what truly makes the Quran divine? Its unmatched language, preserved accuracy, profound scientific insights, mathematical patterns, fulfilled prophecies, and timeless message all point to wisdom far beyond human capability. It is a book that continues to illuminate the hearts and minds of millions around the world, guiding and inspiring in a way that transcends mere literature. Thank you for watching. For more timeless tales and insights into historical and religious wonders, be sure to follow Chronicles of Timeless Tales. Like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. See you in the next video.